Everybody, this is my discussion for our third module. So my first two questions will be from the chapter Delivering Your Message. And the questions I chose to answer today for this first question are number 4, which is explore the concept of primary, secondary, and auxiliary messages, and how these different types of messages played a role in your work or professional interactions, and some specific examples. So for primary message, that is kind of our choice in how we choose to communicate with people, how we conduct ourselves, how we present ourselves, and that's kind of our choice on our communication. So then the secondary is the more unintentional message that's being sent to the receiver or whoever we're communicating with, if it's in person or over an email, if it's writing, or how we come off there. That would be more of the nonverbal communication that we'll get to in the next questions. So secondary could be things like age or gender. People can have existing biases. Someone could really be hoping to hire a female for a specific job, and a male comes in, he applied, and they're just like, no, automatically don't want to hire you. You're not what I was looking for. And mannerisms as well. So kind of how we conduct ourselves, how we present ourselves, and how we make certain body gestures and movements can all play into that secondary messaging. So that's the more unintentional one. And then our auxiliary message that's the unintentional one as well. So that is ways that we are perceived from our intentional things. So how we're perceived from kind of our primary message, and we don't really have control over how, so we can have control over how we're going to send our primary message, but people can draw from that what they will based on their prior experiences or conversations with similar people. So we have control over how we present our primary message, but we don't have control over the auxiliary message that our readers interpret from how we presented ourselves. And that could be gestures, posture, rate of speech, those different things in our auxiliary message. And my example for that question is a job interview. So I know that when I'm going to a job interview, I always check out my surroundings. Does it look organized in here? Does everyone seem to kind of know what's happening, or does it seem like a mess? Are things all over the place? Most of the time you have a job interview in an office, and so that's a good time to, check out your surroundings while you're walking back to that office, check out how they keep things and kind of see, are things organized? Do they have systems going, or does it just kind of look like a mess? And so you can draw those interpretations as well from being on that job interview and seeing if, is this really going to be a place that I want to work, or is this somewhere that doesn't really align with my values? So my second question on the chapter Delivering Your Message is number 3, which is the text emphasizes that the interpretation of words depend on a person's framework of experience, and reflect on a time when your message was misunderstood due to differences in experiences. So this one talked about on page 2, so it's pretty early in the chapter, talking about framework of experience. And I kind of immediately thought about this time when me and my boss were talking about something, and we had just had a bake-off competition at work, and from everyone who participated, he had won, and I asked him, what did you make? What did you bake? or no, I didn't say that. It was something, he told me something about a pumpkin roll, like one of those rolls kind of cake with like frosting in the middle. And he had told me about it, and he was talking about pumpkin rolls. And I was like, why are you rolling pumpkins around? Like, what are you talking about? And I think I had just missed a part of the message or something. And so we had a good laugh about that. We were like, what the heck am I talking about? That message did not get across to me on what he was talking about. So that was the first thing that I had thought about, because it was a funny story and it was funny when it happened. And so that is it for delivering your message. And then the second chapter that we read this week was nonverbal communication. So the questions I will answer from that chapter are number 4. So number 4, time is an important factor in nonverbal communication, as described in this chapter. How does time impact your professional relationships? So in my job, I run by my schedule. I am back to back with appointments all day long. There's no buffer time in between. It's just as soon as I end with one patient or client, I go right into the next. And so I have to be on top of time management. There's no error. I need to make sure that I can close out with someone, make sure they feel respected, and not like I'm just sending them off, oh, sorry, gotta leave in the middle of a conversation and get to my next person. So time is very important to what I do. And so that's something I've had really no choice but to learn to be successful in my role, to make sure everyone is being respected the way that they should. Their time is valuable as well. They're paying for my time, so I need to be able to respect that. And if I am not on time, if I'm late to an appointment, if I run over on their appointment, I keep them late, that's just disrespectful. It's not going to come off very professional. People can assume that, I'm not reliable if I'm continually running late. I'm always 5 minutes late to their appointment. It just becomes something of feeling like they're not serious about it. If someone that I was seeing on a regular basis was always running late, then I'm like, well, they have better things to do. This is not high on their priority list. So it gives a kind of an unintentional message when we're running late or we don't respect time. And so the next question, the second from the nonverbal communication chapter and my 4th question overall, was number 5. So consider how body movements such as gestures or posture contribute to the effectiveness of communication, and discuss a situation where your nonverbal behavior enhanced or detracted from your message, and use examples. So body movement, again, in my job is very important. I use that a lot as nonverbal communication, because if I have to demonstrate something, if someone's doing something for the first time, or if they're doing it incorrectly, I demonstrate. I demonstrate using my own body so that they can see how to properly do these things. A lot of times people are lacking proprioception, so their ability to sense where their body's at in space. And so by just verbally telling them, this is what you need to do, they're like, well, I feel like I'm doing that. But if I show them with my own body and kind of how to correct things, then it can become a lot more understandable for the everyday person. And then another good example for me is I have a client with dementia, and this client, I have to physically do the motion. I'm kind of mirroring what they would do. So if we're doing a shoulder press, I'm standing there and I'm doing it right along with them, kind of in a mirrored position. So they have something to follow instead of just relying on those words that can just as easily go in one ear and out the other with short-term memory loss. It really affects things, so I have to be in a situation where I can understand how to best help them and help them succeed, not letting myself get in the way of that. So just learning the right communication for each situation. And let's see. Okay, I think that's everything for our 3rd module discussion this week. Thank you guys.